Okay, so I was saying that vaccines, that's the next question. Do they work? Two bodies are involved in doing it at the moment. One of them is Pfizer, which is a major player, and you could see how they were rushing to produce it, because they understand what it entails. Remember what I shared about many people being involved in this thing because of money. Somebody said that medical science would fare better if people are not into it because of money. Okay, that's the same reason why some very funny doctor would be quick to uh, prescribe CS, without even waiting to watch very well, because of course that would benefit them more. So you could see how they were very fast about producing it. So it's expensive to get the vaccine. Yeah, it's expensive to get the vaccine, and then the model of that vaccine, the way they produce, is actually different from the normal definition of the vaccine. So vaccine before now, uh, so okay, so let me pick it up this way. We have soldiers in our body, our white blood cells. All of the cells in our body are labeled. They have their ID card in codes. So when an external pathogen enters the body, the soldiers in our body, they will go around and look for, they'll be on the surveillance, and then when they see any cell, when they see any virus or anything that is not in alignment with, and does not have the ID card, that is not a legal occupant of the body, they'll pretty much try to develop uh, weapons to attack them, and then to destroy them and then eliminate them. Okay, and that's the normal model. But when it's the first time that the virus or that the pathogen is attacking, the process may take a longer time because it is novel. They don't understand it. They don't understand how to treat it, how to address it. So because that process of developing a weapon may take time, before they are done developing the weapon, the pathogen possibly would have invaded the body so
Church
much.
man.
Okay, the pathogen would have invaded his body so much that some symptoms would have developed, chronic symptoms would have developed. Okay, so that's not the best, and that could lead to a lot of things, that could be really, really devastating for the body. So that was where the concept of development of vaccine comes in. So what they do pretty much is they'll get that pathogen, okay, and they will weaken it. It will still be pathogen, it will still be the T, it will still be the invader. They'll weaken it to a point where it cannot invoke any danger or any harm on the body again. So it's that weakened form that they will now put into the body. So when they put that weakened form into the body, it is still the enemy, but because it is very weak, it cannot do any harm to the body. So the body soldiers would now go around and say, "Oh, this is an enemy. Where's your ID card? I don't have ID card." And then the body soldiers would now develop weapons to destroy it. So because the enemy is weak, it doesn't matter how many days or how many weeks it takes them to develop weapons to destroy it. The enemy wouldn't have been able to do any damage to the body whilst they are developing the weapon. So they are able to destroy the enemy effectively. So what the body does in its intelligence is the body has a memory. The body killer cells, they have a memory. So they will not keep the memory in their archive, so that when next that kind of enemy invades the body, it will not take them that so long. That's such a long time to develop weapon again, because they've been able to deal with that situation before. Developing the weapon will be very easy. They already have the weapon in their archive. They just come out with the weapon, and then attacking the enemy will be faster. So that's the concept of vaccine. So most vaccines is the weakened enemy that gets into the cell. When a real one now comes in the future, the body is able to quickly attack them, and then it doesn't invoke any damage on the body. Okay, so that's the concept of vaccine. I believe in that, and it's good. The only problem I have with vaccine is what they use to preserve it. Okay, so they use some heavy metals to preserve it. Okay, so after weakening the pathogens, they use some heavy metals to preserve them. Okay, metals like mercury, they use them to preserve them. And those metals, when they inject those metals into the body, they can begin to cause, when it's becoming one too many vaccines that people are taking, they can become too much, so much so that it can lead to mercury poison, you know, to ensure that nothing comes to this part of the body. So, but when those mercury are in the system, but when those mercury become overloaded in the system, they are able to beat the blood-brain barrier, enters into this place, and then they can begin to cause some neurodegenerative conditions. So like Alzheimer, dementia, Parkinson, all of those neurodegenerative conditions, in some children and then in some senior citizens. Okay, so that vaccine is good. The only constraint or reservation I have with it is what they use to preserve it. If they are able to preserve it in something better, I'll be more of a fan of it. Okay, but this one is different. This one, they actually produce like a protein, like an RNA protein, and inject that RNA protein into the body. So that RNA protein would now create. So the way your body can create itself from food, they are injecting something. I'm trying to break it down in such a way that we'll get it. They are injecting something into the body, mRNA, okay, that would now create the antibodies itself, create the soldier. They're injecting something into your body that can change the genetic makeup of your body and then create an antibody by itself. So now attack the enemy. Okay, so I kind of have a reservation against that because that's looking to me like a genetic modification. Okay, because we have a normal arrangement of gene in our body. Okay, but that model kind of changes the genetic makeup of the body. Although they say that the thing does not get into the cell, but based on understanding of chemistry, that's not possible because DNAs, okay, genetic makeup are only found inside the cell. So there's no way those things will not get into the cell if they are not going to perform any function. Okay, forgive me if I'm beginning to sound technical, but let me just say it this way. The point green plantain in this part of the world black. So think about a black, really black color plantain. So they can change the genetic makeup, okay, to create like a black plantain, to create a green or a purple tomatoes, to create maybe a red rice, something that is out of the ordinary. So they can genetically modify it. In fact, they genetically modify a fish to start glowing. I remember there was one like that. They changed the makeup of the fish to the extent that the fish was then glowing in the river. So and research is out there about how the end result of all of those things are actually very, very devastating. You know, it's not very good. Cancer and things like that are actually the end results when they are becoming one too many in all of those other creatures. Okay, but there's no sufficient studies yet for humans to show the results. But I'm still not very comfortable with that model of giving vaccine. Okay, especially because I'm aware that there are some things that can be done, okay, to prevent it or to reverse it. Okay, like I told you about the chloroquine. Okay, there's a medication too. There is ivermectin. I don't know if how many of us have heard about that. So that medication too, they use it for parasites. It's actually a low cost medication. For many cream, lotion, to address condition, parasite, and things like that, infection on the skin. They use that part of medication, so you can either take it in or take it as part of lotion, cream. All of those things that we get to address skin conditions. So ivermectin is used for that. And studies have actually been shown, carried that, I think it started from Australia, where they showed that that medication is actually one of the medications that can stop the replication of the virus. But the interesting thing, as cheap as that medication is, many people are not talking about it. Okay, they are only pushing the vaccine. Okay, because of course your guess is as good as mine. They've invested a lot of money in trying to produce a vaccine. Okay, so you can't spoil somebody's business. Okay, but now saying this one is good, this one that costs almost nothing. Okay, so that's why some people are not pushing it. So, like I said, there's a difference between what is happening and then what is really, really going on. Okay, so I'm actually addressing a lot of what is going on tonight. Okay, so I mean, what is happening? So, what is going on is going on, what is happening. So what is really, really happening? Okay, so that's why for many people they are not interested in that vaccine. Although some Asian countries, I think like China, like India, they are beginning to see the reason why the low, uh, uh, what's the word now, fatality, okay, from COVID-19 was because they are introducing this medication. You understand? But many people are not talking about it. They are only focusing on the vaccine. Okay, so the vaccine, the truth again is if you take the vaccine, you can still contract the COVID-19. That's the interesting thing. You can still contract it. So it takes a particular number of days or weeks before the vaccine could then lead to the production of the protein that would then prevent that virus from causing havoc on the body. And then they even said that that vaccine may actually prevent you from becoming asymptomatic. This is very interesting. So the fact that you've taken the vaccine does not mean that you can't contract COVID-19. It just means that you would be asymptomatic, meaning you will not have any symptom, but you will still be able to transfer it to others. Can you beat that? To transfer it to others. So there are so many things that are really not still very clear about the vaccine. So the big question is, if I'm able to take it, if it's a requirement for a particular project I need to work on, and they are asking me to take it, should I take it? I think you should take it if it's a requirement. But again, that then speaks to the fact that more of us would have to start going into politics, going into policy making, to ensure that uh, more of these things that are not supposed to be this difficult are addressed and then done. I mean, in the Elevation Church, for instance, we're moving into that point where people that are interested in politics, they are uh, talking together, forming advocacy and then looking at things that they can do. So I'm looking forward to a time where we're able to generate a lot of, to address issues on a national level and then to address issues on a global level. So that's the point about vaccine. The vaccine uh, may work, okay. There are claims that it works, okay, but then uh, there are other alternatives that we can use, okay, to address it. You understand? So uh, that's the point about the vaccine. Uh, that's the point about the vaccine, really. So I hope with this few points of mine, I've been able to convince you and not to confuse you that it's not a big deal. If there's anybody that is infected, with the virus, we can actually work together. You know, uh, I still worked with one lady like that. Was it not last month? That she was experiencing all of those concerns, and then now she's okay. You understand? So it's not a big deal. There are things that we can do. Many of them I may not be able to talk about them because a lot of things that we should be doing. But I hope all of the things I've shared will be effective, okay, for prevention and then to ensure that you don't contract it and then to boost your immune system to ensure that you are okay. And then even if the virus invade your system, the immune system is able to checkmate from causing havoc on the system. Thank you so much for your time. Sir, I think I'm done for now.
I hope you
Sir,
heard
will have
my
any question?
applause. I was clapping. I hope you can hear my applause. Did you hear my applause, Coach Dams? My
Yes.
virtual applause. Thank you so
Yes, I
much.
did.
Yeah.
I
Please, do we have any questions for those
also.
left on the call? I think we dropped a few people off after the previous call, but do we have any questions? Sorry, I know we've gone
Yeah.
beyond our time by 5 minutes. But if we have any questions or concerns, this is the time that we can ask the coach himself. I think he has, spoken through most of the myths that were in my mind. The recent one, which I just heard, which is the ivermectin. I wasn't sure. I was still telling someone that, how can they use drugs for animals and human beings just take drugs and start using? But I think he has been able to clarify that for me tonight. So if we have any other questions, please let's ask Coach before we let him go.
They use it for human too, actually. It's for animal and human. So there are medications that can actually be used for both humans and animals.
Okay, thank you. Any questions from anyone? Because I think you really broke everything down, eh? I think you really broke everything down, talking to us, all the way I even took notes and shared on the group because it was really interesting,
Yeah,
understanding. Yeah. You have a question,
yeah.
Sister
Good evening.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening, Sister Do.
Yeah, Coach Dami, like you said, Sister Buki, he has broken everything down. I had several questions I wanted to ask, but he said it already. Like the question of I wanted to ask him if you have a contract that might be compelling you to take it, should you go ahead? And I think he has answered that. Because I work as a carer and we have I was told I might need to get it. Although I've not considered though. So I had to turn some jobs down. Like, okay, this place had COVID, I'm not going. This place has COVID, I'm not going. You know? So you've answered all the questions so far.
It's okay, you can take it. But just know that the fact that you have taken it is just like the glove example I shared. Some
Yeah.
people, the fact that they are wearing glove, okay, they now think that I'm safe, I can live anyhow. The fact that
Mm,
I'm wearing a nose mask, then I can behave anyhow. No, you still have to be very careful.
true.
So you
True.
can actually take it. You can
Yeah.
take it.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, so I think that for me, it's very the program has been really insightful for me. Understanding the difference between DNA and RNA. When people say, "Oh, it multiplies in the body," I know that sometimes when we have malaria, we get that feeling as well. When they say the malaria parasite is a lot in your body, and when you were speaking about chloroquine,
Yeah.
and the effects, some drugs that can have the same effect, even though it's not the same disease. I was thinking, is it because, when you take it for
Yeah.
malaria, it gives that effect of killing the parasites or stopping them from replicating, and therefore it's also able to stop COVID from replicating, and also the part about the chloroquine also, clarifies it for me because we've heard we can take chloroquine, but people were not so sure. Is it okay? Can we take it? But now at least we know that it works. I actually have a colleague whose husband is a medical practitioner, and immediately she found that she had symptoms, she was he just brought chloroquine straight for her and zinc, and it cleared up everything. So yeah, so I think also we shouldn't forget the natural part. I have been on a lot of, I have been on a lot of garlic, turmeric, cinnamon. I do juices and all that. And so I think it's helped a lot. So please let's not forget to use our natural fruits and vegetables, while we also take supplements. And I think the part about emotional health cannot be, it cannot be overemphasized. If you are happy, if you are joyful, it's one of the things that got me through my own, health challenge. I chose to go into my treatment with joy. And, I was able to come out, stable and feeling okay and happy with who I am, even though I lost a part of my body. I was just full of joy, but it's still that joy that will take us through. It says with joy we draw out of our well of salvation. It is with joy that you draw out. But if you don't even have joy, then how do you draw? How do you pull out, the essence of life? How do you, make things work? How do you connect to your healing? It is going to be with joy, okay? So yeah, that for me, is also very key. So thank you, everyone, for joining. I would try, it's difficult to move these things to my Google Drive and then share it, but I'll try and do that tonight so that I don't forget. I have both recordings. Please let's listen to it again. And as I said during the prayers, let's be the light. It's really dark out there in the world. People are scared. And fear kills faster than disease, by the way. So please let's be the light. Let's, help people in their own journeys. And, God would continue to, his covering will continue to be over us, and he will continue to grant us divine health, and our families will continue to be well, healed, and hearty in Jesus' name. Thank you so much, Coach Jams. This has been an enlightening session. We would see you again next month, hopefully to talk of something more interesting than we have spoken about today. And hopefully the pandemic would be on a downward trend, this second wave. We have learned to live life through it, and not really staying back at home. But as we do that, I pray that we will be stronger than disease, as you have taught us. So thanks, everyone. That will be it from me. Any last words from you, Coach?
All right, thank you.
Okay.
I think you summarized everything.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Just encourage us to do all of the things. Yeah.
Okay.
Just to take actions.
Okay. Thank you. Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
All right, yeah.
Bye. Thank you.